Good morning and welcome back to Gaming with ADHD. Today we are going to take a look at the updates for the On Tabletop Spring Cleaning Challenge and look at what I've been able to accomplish since the last video that I recorded. In the last video, I was showing off the display tray that I've got, the layer of dust that's over top of everything, and just kind of taking an assessment of what I had and what I needed to work on in order to, finish this project. So today I'm going to start off by showing the page there where I'm posting the different blog entries, different progress, and then we'll also take some close-up looks at some of the miniatures that I have been working on. All right. So before we get started, don't forget, do like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting these updates out once a week. This way you don't miss any of the updates as they come through. All right. So to start off with, I want to look at where I actually started. Now, this is the page on the Beasts of War website. I will have it linked down in the description below if you want to actually keep up with the progress that I'm making during the week. So the first one was my getting started. Basically, I took any model that was either primed or just pure or just bare plastic and just literally just put it in a bucket. As you can see, this is the standard Home Depot orange bucket, and just put it in there, put some dish soap in, and basically let it soak overnight. I mean, I could have gotten a brush out and scrubbed it, but basically I just let it soak. I would get up and kind of swish it around every now and again, just to kind of get things to move around a little bit. But basically I just left it there, overnight while I was working, and that's what I started with. Once I was done, I literally just poured everything into the colander in the sink, rinsed it all off, and then spread it out on a towel to absorb some of the water so I'm not putting it directly on the kitchen table, and then basically just let it air dry for the next 24 hours. The primer seemed to stay intact pretty well, so it doesn't look like I lost anything there. I did have to actually, this right here is the base for the Rancor. I did have to actually use the hot water treatment on it. It was pretty badly warped, but it's basically flat now, so that worked out really well. Went through, assembled the Rancor, but yeah, so basically just got everything cleaned up so that I could then get started. Now, another thing is I had a bit of a problem. The jet troopers, they come with clear stands and separate bases, and I wanted to be able to keep the stands clear so that it does look like they're jumping in the air and that there's not necessarily anything supporting them. I realized I could repurpose it, get like some exhaust jets, something like that, but I didn't want to. So I needed to come up with a way that I could actually support these and be able to get the primer in to all the spots without having to turn them over and put wet paint down on cardboard or prime them, spray them multiple times. So I actually came up with a jig to actually support all of the jet troopers. I'll show it off when I switch over to the camera here in just a moment. But this actually worked out really well. I'm definitely going to be holding on to this for future projects because I was able to get these guys up here, get them painted up or get them primed, and they're just waiting for paint at this point. All right. Then, let's see. There's an example of that, but let's actually get into looking at the miniatures. So, all right. Let's start with Well, here, actually, we'll start with this one. Which I don't like. There we go. That one. This one's better. Much cleaner. All right, so I was able to get the Rancor completely finished. The Rancor is out of Jabba's palace. I was able to get the sentry droids finished out of Heart of the Empire. I was able to do the Obi-Wan single figure pack. And then this is the Jet Trooper rig. So I'm going to start with the Jet Troopers because I haven't done any painting on them. So I mostly just want to show off the jig and how it works. So to start with, I know, absolutely professional operation here. Okay, so to start off with, I had these, copper or brass, I don't remember exactly what they are, pinning rods. They're actually pretty heavy duty, pretty thick. And I had a couple of these, just sitting around in my craft box. So I cut them in half and I punched them through basically an old cereal box. I just grabbed one of the flaps from the cereal box. I put a couple of bends in to hold them in place, and then basically just a piece of packing tape, put that over to keep those in place, and they stand up, no issues, and the rod was just wide enough to fit in the hole in the bottom of the Jet Trooper that you can see. So also I want to point out, obviously this is a little bit lighter gray underneath, so not all, it was a dark gray primer that I used, so it didn't get all underneath, but it got enough. But overall, the priming came out just fine on these. So this made it really easy to keep these guys off the ground. And okay, why are they not going back in now? So I'll also use this to support the guys while I am painting them. And that was the Jet Trooper jig. So they aren't on there very tight, so they do pop off a little bit, but overall it worked exactly as I needed it to, and I will be saving it for later. All right, the next thing I'm going to show off is the Rancor. Now, this was a bit of a challenge. I still need to seal it with some matte varnish. But overall, this guy, so he weighs quite a bit, almost as much as an old metal Games Workshop Dreadnought, but a bit bigger, bit bulkier. These arms are absolutely massive. So I actually have the Games Workshop painting handle, but it doesn't want to stay very well on the painting handle. So I ended up having to go back over the model a lot to clean up bits. But overall, I think he came out really, really well. A bit more red than I was expecting. I used I think it was saddle brown for it. Used some tanned flesh for the stomach, the hands, and the armpits. And then I moved from a chocolate brown to a brain matter beige. Well, chocolate brown, khaki, and then brain matter beige for all of the bones, the claws, and the teeth. These bone plates across its back. But overall, this actually ended up being a lot of fun to paint. I really enjoyed it. used a little bit of that tanned flesh for the ears and the nose. And then once I had everything done but the base, I just hit it with Army Painter Dark Tone and came out like this. And I very much I like how it turned out. I think it's a fun model. The base, as you can see, is much more flat than the warped one I was talking about earlier. But overall, yeah, I'm very happy with how that one came out. All right. For the rest, because they are a bit smaller, I'm going to switch over to just a close-up on my turntable. All right, I'm going to start with the sentry droids. So, sentry droids in the game can come in units of 2 in both a standard and an elite version. And so I actually painted them exactly the same as far as the color schemes on the legs, on the arms. Basically, it was Reaper Tarnished Steel and Army Painter True Copper. Basically, I just kept it pretty simple over a black base coat. And then on the head for both of them, I actually used either a red stripe or a gray stripe, because that's how the cards designate between the two types, basically the regular units and the elite units. And so I just wanted something simple, easily identifiable, but then, with the base, not something that's necessarily going to get scratched up as easily as the bases will. Again, still need to varnish coat these, but overall, I like how they came out. It's a nice, simple, robot-y looking paint job. So, that is the sentry droids. And then finally, for my progress this week, I've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, this one... So I'm very happy with how he turned out. I'm just regretting the choices a little bit. I wish I would have gone with like that saddle brown that I used on the Rancor for his robes. I thought I used khaki and stone gray from Vallejo. And so the stone gray is the robes, and then the khaki is the cloak, and then obviously a Army Painter strong tone wash over all of it. But I wish his robes had turned out more red. I don't try to find out what exact colors I should be using. I basically just kind of eyeball it, and I thought they would be fine. And they are. I like everybody I've shown it to, actually likes how he came out, thinks he looks good. It's just one of those things that kind of, annoys me a little bit. For his face and hands, I used Reaper tanned flesh. For his hair, I actually think this worked out really well because Alec Guinness had sort of a blonde hair as opposed to a gray hair, but I also wanted him to kind of look, kind of have that grayish old look to him. So I just actually painted the beard and the hair white and then used Army Painter Light Tone as a wash across his hair. And I actually think the color came out just right on that. I'm actually really, really happy with how that turned out. The lightsaber is just Vallejo Sky Blue for the saber blade. And I think it does give it kind of that glowing blue look to it. It does have the hard lines. Unfortunately, I have not figured out how to paint fuzzy yet. But when I took a picture to post it online, the focus was on the model and the lightsaber was forward a bit, so it was actually out of focus. So it did kind of have that lightsaber sort of fuzzy look to it. So was pretty happy with how that turned out. But overall, that's what I was able to get finished this week. I'm pretty happy with the progress. I did basically take 3 days off because I went on a trip with my wife and my son, so I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. But I am excited to get in and get working on it again this week. And I've got more plans for painting, more plans for, finally getting the rest of the tray cleaned up. I need to get some canned air. I just haven't gone to the store for that. But other than that, that's my progress. So thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some, saw something that you liked. If you did, please do give the video a thumbs up. It definitely helps push it out so that more people find it. And don't forget, do subscribe to the channel. I would absolutely appreciate it. And, thank you for watching. We'll talk to you next time.